which means blessings.
Then go
So,
to blessings. Okay, so you have your hand and you wrap your mind around many things. You are multiple skilled and multiple task oriented. What's the first thing you want to talk to our audience about regarding your output, your work? When did you start to paint? Well, tell us, you paint, you're a father, you are a patriot. Tell me what else more you have. You're a survivor.
A former footballer.
Former footballer, yes.
And, I'm a carpenter, I'm a joiner. Used to be a farmer. Well, being a farmer still, but because of the whole situation with the ulcer, it impeding my whole movement. So there are certain, limitations to my movement.
So in your limitations to your movement in your feet doesn't hurt your hand. Tell me about what's the latest painting you had and what was the week like regarding your paintings? Because people tell me, most people do not know, or a few know, when they say that maybe Blessings is at home on his phone waiting for the
Yes, I've heard that all through the years. I've heard that all through the years.
Blessings are core. So, but like when you call in the morning, because you're spontaneous and you would call and you would make a point and then come on and make another point. So some people are saying, I wish I was brave like Blessings. Where did you get your willingness to be? Well, I'm frank, but you're frank and earnest.
Once I told Angelo, I've been through hell and back. He told me, you're a young man. What are you talking about? I said, Angelo, if you only knew my history, I have been through hell and back with a few scars, bumps, and bruises and all of that. But I'm still standing. From small, I have that courage. I have that courage, which I frighten my own self when I see, like, I could transit into a state of mind. Is either I hurt somebody or they hurt me. And that time I'm very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I grew up like that. And I have done a lot of madness in my life. Hurt a lot of people. Do a lot of nonsense in my young days and all of that. And I'm looking back to see what I've been through. Guns, cutlass, knife, Guadalupe, Matnik, Marigaland, different mountains and valleys, plant marijuana, get problem with Northman because I'm small and they're big and they think they could intimidate me. But while everybody's sleeping, where you tell me not to come, I don't care about pigs, wild pigs or snakes or nothing, and I'm coming. And when you wake up, you realize somebody was there, but you can't even figure out, but then, Daya or Poopa. Different names and nicknames and so. So for what I've been through, I see I could have done a lot of madness. I could have gone and I could have sent a lot of people away.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, when I have been through a certain experience, I say that was about it. I say it's not out of fear, it's out of self-preservation. Because I start to get wiser, realizing it doesn't worth it. Police behind you, the same people you're cultivating with, they can betray you.
Incarceration.
And you could give Franklin 10 pounds of weed and he agreed not to pay you.
And you cannot go and tell them.
You can go and tell them.
Yeah. It's interesting that you said that. When I used to be, that's a good joke, right? When I used to be on the hard drugs, the white lady.
Yeah.
And you'd go and buy the little one in the packet. A partner give you rock and candle, and you cannot go police station and tell the police, look, you go and buy some.
There was a saying when guys go to the police or fellas making noise in the public, he take my thing.
What's the thing? Yes. What is the thing?
He take my thing.
Okay, we're going to shift now because your hands seem to be speaking a language of its own.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because you have one there that you've been able to really carve out the parrot. And it's indigenous, it is authentic, it is original. Not only that, a lot of thought went into that. I had the opportunity to be in Syndicate 2 weeks ago. For the first time in my life, I saw them in the wild. First time I've heard them after Hurricane, Mr. Louis showed me where they passed. I seen one in the bush, but I saw them flying, and they fly in couples.
Yes.
They stay together.
And a history of the Cicero parrot. When the male lose its partner, it mourns till when it passes.
Pull your mic closer to you.
Yeah, when the male loses the female
loses its mate.
I don't know if it go the other way. It mate or the other way around as well. When the female loses its mate, I heard they never mate again. So they are it's a very unique bird. So that's the Cicero.
Yes.
I make the Jacko as
Deliver
well.
it up so we can see it on Facebook and YouTube, yeah?
Yeah, I make the Jacko and all of that. So I used to be a vendor at the Emerald Pool, and a lot of tourists used to see my work.
Okay.
And I used to paint on bamboo, on coconut shell, the giant fern, and anything. And the tourists used to tell me, "You're a painter." I tell them, "No, I'm a wood carver." They said, "No, you're a painter."
Oh.
And I keep hearing it in my head. You're a great painter. Look at the way you can shade, and you have a great eye for. So I say, "But how these people can tell me those things and I'm not seeing it?" And then I start to try my hands on a piece of Silotex, on a piece of board, trying all that. Then I say, I hear about canvas. Then I start buying canvas and try about 4 or 5 years back. But my focus is the Cicero parrot.
Yes.
You know, so, and dolphins, you know, but my main thing is the Jacko, the Cicero, and so.
I didn't want to ask you how much one like that costs.
Yeah, this one costs $500.
Okay.
Work that worth
Is
much more than that.
For those of you who can see it on Facebook and YouTube, it takes a lot of detailed
and
work.
$500 EC
and
dollars.
EC dollars. Yeah. That is just 1.60 US dollars.
Look at the details on the head. That is one of the most, and the claws.
No, I see that.
Claws on the feet there. That's the most difficult area to carve on the parrot is the claws.
And when you carve it out, do you have a real parrot or do you use your imagination?
No, by now.
Your imagination.
It is captured in my imagination. Wow. And in my just like the Jacko, it's a little now I doing one and I looking for a picture I have there because it's a while I haven't carved it because the Cicero it's in much more demand than the Jacko. So I carve the Cicero very often.
Often? Oh, not often. How long would it take you to do such intricate work?
I could do it based on me and my resilience, to use that word a while ago.
Yes, we did.
And my discipline. I could do it in about 2 days or 3 days.
What?
But the days is like 2 days in one because when everybody's sleeping, I'm up at 12 o'clock, sometimes up to 1 o'clock. But I just count it as a day.
Yes,
but when you don't check, it's 3 or 4 days that run on me there because I'm late painting or carving.
So you're late. I'm an early person. From the time you see 3, 4, 5 come in the afternoon, I'm off.
You know.
But you see 3, 4 in the morning, I can work from there until 12. Yeah, I'm a morning person.
I'm a very committed and disciplined person when it comes to time and work.
I wish you could teach me some time in particular because it's working in the radio. You have to be on time, but I'm getting there on time sometimes. No, the next point is you have this. Oof. Blessings. That's as Matt would say. There are some people who would love to hate you, and others who would hate to love you. What is your principle and your stance on a number of things on religion, politics, money? Let's talk.
The most lethal and toxic weapon against the citizens of the world, but we as African people, particularly Caribbean, African, Afro-American, wherever we are, there's the Afro part of everything. Religion has has dealt us a dangerous and deadly blow because it takes us out of reality and into a lot of fantasy about a kingdom up in the sky. And when you die and, riches on earth, don't care about them. Because it's easier for camel to enter into the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter heaven. And the streets of heavens are paved with gold and rivers are flowing with milk.
And you don't believe that?
It's not about believing. Okay. These are ridiculous and incredulous. They should not be believed and they're laughable because no other nation 99% of other nations does not subscribe to that my apologies, to those beliefs.
Beliefs, yes.
Okay? And why it is not applicable. Look at our conditions as a people on a global scale. Because we get fixated or ensnared. We get entrapped or we get frozen and get stuck into a belief. Almost paralyzed into an inactiveness because when I die, I just have to be good on earth and I'm going up in heaven. Franklin,
so what is your concept of the afterlife? And how do you get there?
Life is eternal.
Okay.
Perpetually so. There is the transformation chamber and the transitional chamber. The womb and the tomb. There is the transformational chamber, the womb, and the transitional chamber, the tomb, symbolic of sowing a seed that germinates and rises up. It looked like you're burying the seed, but guess what? It germinated. But yours, we are so unique. But the seed have the same characteristics because from that seed, it comes from a tree that comes from seeds, and the cycle is perpetual. So the end of nothing in life, if you notice, there is a transitional or a cyclical nature to everything. You'll say, but he died. And I said that the other day to myself. A man is missing. They find him. They say they find him. But if he's dead, they say they find his body. So where is his? Where is he? And when they bury him, they say they bury him. No, they bury his body. Because there is the core side of you, which is the soul or the spirit. Nothing can take it away. You go there and say, Franklin is your brother? No, my cousin. My distant cousin. Boy, I would swear to you is Franklin's son or something like that. So they have a thing saying, waspakaped. The race cannot lose. So you see Matt and you see his son, you know, something like that, and you just see. So life is a perpetual
a cycle of unfolding and awakening.
That's it. That's it. Perfect.
It's an unfolding and an awakening. As you rightly said earlier on. Yeah, go ahead.
So what I'm saying I am not looking to promote violence, but Franklin, everybody knows. The Bible said it: a time to live, a time to die,
to kill, a time to die,
a time to do this,
a time to grow, a time to reap, a time to plant.
You cannot remain on your knees. And you see, like, forgive 70 times 7, turn the other cheek, love those who hate you, forgive. These things have an application. But to have it lock, stock, and barrel, you need no slave master. You need no chains. You need no security guard to watch over you. You are doing everything over you because of the way you think. Because look, that is the greatest prison. The brains, the way you think. It could make you or break you, heal you or kill you, the way you think.
The way you think. So you're saying a lot of the substance of the quality of our life is the thoughts.
Yes, and when a man tell me the love of money is the root of all evil, so what about the love of gold? Because if I'm being enticed by the streets of heavens are paved with gold, when gold have a greater value than money. So what about the love of gold? Why should I want to be in heaven drinking milk and honey?
What would you be rather drinking?
All the great fruits and vegetables and provisions and everything, the earth. And there is a difference, as I said. Keep your trend of thought.
Yes.
To believe and to know. To see and to observe. To hear and to listen. A lot of people can hear. They are not deaf, but they have not the capability of listening. Because to listen is to comprehend, to understand, make sense of what you hear. To see and not observe. You just see it and you walk away. You can pass the $100 and the thing there. You watch it, you say, I think that no. Franklin come, you see it, but you observe is $100. So that's
so
what I mean.
You understand the power of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica, right?
To a certain extent, I need a copy. Angelo used to advise me to get a copy, which I need to.
But are you aware that there's a constitution on earth and a constitution above? There are two different.
The natural laws.
The natural laws and the spiritual laws that govern.
Yes, that govern us. But the whole thing about a God that is loving, merciful, and forgiving and compassionate, that create a hell to burn you forever and ever and ever, and where the worms die if not. But the person who rebel against him, that was cast down, he will bound him for 1,000 years and then release him to roam the earth. How ridiculous and illogical and incredulous these things, when you have that embedded in your head,
but that is
firmly fitted in your head, automatically you become a slave unto yourself and to everybody else.
What if one day, we're going to change the subject, what if one day you get into the kingdom and you find out that they were right and maybe you're wrong?
No, the kingdom of God is within.
I was waiting for you to say that.
The Bible, you have a place where you read it and they say they look here and look everywhere. Everybody looking
for it.
For the kingdom of God. They say, no, the kingdom of God is within. So where can you find God?
You can find God in by closing your eyes, looking within, by activating the God self, so that you are not like God, but you are God-like, because you have the characteristics.
What we are looking for is where we are looking from.
Say it again.
What we are looking for is where we are looking from. And I create those things, and some people believe you're too dumb to say those things. Who tell you? Nah, these are my thoughts.
That leads me to my next question. Now, in my research regarding you, you were illiterate.
Up to 20-something years, 25 years.
How did you reverse that? Because to be illiterate, one has to not know that they don't know that they don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're illiterate. You don't know that you don't know that you don't know. When did you have your awakening? Like, hold on, is it that Mr. speaking properly? And how can't I express myself? When did your epiphany started? When you moved into your university of yourself?
When I leave marijuana and guns and high seas and all of that, I sit down, I realize I was a stranger.
To yourself or to society?
In the whole world.
Okay.
And I could see black and white, but the shades of gray was not there. So I could not distinguish, I could not differentiate what it is all about. I take something, poison, no entry, bad dog, Tyrone and Tony, red and white. I don't know what it is. So with my pride and my zeal and will, and I hearing people speak, I listening to intelligent people, and they're saying things where they say, and the dog run after the man, and then he took an extremely
evasive action,
and it threw me off because I was following the dog part of it, and when he used a word, I am lost. Ozzy Lewis and these great minds, Dr. Francis Severin, Lennox Linton, Angelo Allen, and many other things. The news, I always love news. So I'm saying, but I'm missing something. I'm missing out on something. So I was attending adult education classes in St. Jude, and I started to go at Bath Estate. And then I used to sell at the Emerald Pool, making some US. So I would pay at least 1, 2, 3, about 4 different guys to come at my home and tutor me. And then I buy like a master, the Caribbean readers, they call them.
Yes, Caribbean readers.
Brian Nancy, Master Willie, Mr. Dan, Uncle Joe, and
Mr. Tibbs.
Mr. Tibbs. and
Shallow and the Strange Bagging.
And when I started to read that, then there was a Trinidadian lady just quickly, that was the manager of Fort Young, and they wanted a big
red-skin
sign.
lady.
Yes.
Yes, her husband was slim.
She gave me all her details anytime I come to Trinidad, because she never believed I could not read the way I could express myself.
Yes.
And then she gave me a dictionary with all her information if I come to Trinidad. She could not believe. I was so convincing all the time I was working for them. When it comes to the liquor, pen and paper, I tell her that and I'm lost. She said, what? And so I just agree, and I had to keep reading and reading and reading and try to just be as persistent in wanting to know, because I understand ignorance is hell. Where ignorance is in abundance, it is foolish to be wise. It is a folly, a fallacy to be wise. And I'm seeing it in that country that hurts me so much, and I'm trying my utmost best to see if I could even use words. People, you're always using a big word. I say, when I use a big word, I use in a small word. And I say, if I'm using big words, how do you measure a word? And look at the size of my mouth. How a big word can come out? What is a big word? How do you measure a big word? I say I use, maybe grammar, and my vocabulary is a bit sharp because I'm learning still. I want to know things. So when Franklin talk, he don't throw me off. Mr. Linton talk, he don't throw me off. I want to be able to follow you and say yes. And first of all, Franklin said something, and I said, damn, I'm not familiar with that word. I quickly take my dictionary, or I take my phone. Now I have the access of a phone. And I quickly go and look for the definition and in the context in which I can use the word. And it excites me to the sense where I could not do nothing in 25 years, almost 30 years. I could not do, I don't know.
You were incapacitated. You just could not
paralyzed.
But that didn't stop you from being an effective painter.
Not at all.
An artist, a thinker. So are you now in a safe place? What space are you in now? I wasn't going to ask you your age, but I know with age comes wisdom.
I'm over 60 now.
So am I. So between us, we are almost 120 something years put together. For me, at 60, 62, thereabout, it's a refreshing reflection for me. In other words, I didn't plan my life until I had a spiritual conversion. So when I say plan my life, it's like, okay, I know I'm gifted in radio. I'm going to stay in radio, into entertainment, into publicity, into communication. That's my gift. And your gift is your ability to think, your ability to how would you advise people? This is the next question I'm going to ask. How do they reinvent themselves? How did you take yourself from ignorant, slightly illiterate, but ambitious, and you wanted to overcome the hurdle of where you are now? Tell me about the journey as you go back into yourself and be an example to others.
Admittance, self-examination, contemplation, intention, ambition, all these words come into play. Am I satisfied with where I'm at? Why am I not, where I need to be? What can enhance or help me to get to be where I'm at? If a man does not know he has a fault, he can never work on it to repair, to fix, or to move away from it. It's like an addiction. If you're denying you're addicted to sex, alcohol, drugs, or whatever it is, you will never make any effort. And I used to look at myself and I said, I want to be better than that. Not in competition with anybody, but with competition with me. I want to be better. So anybody who want to move away from where they are, they have to admit first they have a problem. It's like an addiction. Okay? And you have to say, look and use everybody else as a reference point. You're not imitating in the sense you're looking to be inspired by what Franklin have been through, Franklin's story, Blessing's story, and you listen, you weigh everything, and then you say, something, I learned from Franklin, I learned from Blessings, I want to be my own person, and look, you start to work on it. And when you end up where you end up, Franklin, you become a peculiar, you're strange, you're odd, you're unusual, because people are trying now to measure you, and people are trying to figure you
based
out.
on their past knowledge of you. How come but he not more passing and ailing me, but he getting quiet, man.
Yes.
And they don't understand creative people. Some of us talk to ourselves, I can paint that, I can write. But I just get an idea for commercial. And you go like this, and people say, you okay? And you're like,
people can catch me talking to myself a lot,
A lot.
And it's not any earplugs out in my head, because I'm verbalizing what the thoughts bring into my head, because I almost want to offload.
Yes.
Because 1,000,001 things rushing through my head at the same time. That's the creative
thought. That's the power.
So then I speak and feel it is almost recorded or chronicled somewhere in my vocabulary, in my psyche, so I can go back and retrieve it, downloading.
Yes,
when I speak to, like it's a downloading, speaking what I think of. So when I told you about the other day when I just said I was thinking of, and I said, but how does stuff just come in my head now?
I know.
Because you are disciplined enough to admit your limitations.
Yes. And let me help you with this. When I walk down the road, my whole life and energy is about entertainment. It's about making people happy and smiling. So this day they called me to do a commercial, and I say, just tell me the product. And she's like, no, you have to come and see it. I say, Mom, tell me the product. So as soon as she told me the product, it's to do with Bush. It's to do with, actually, it's called Jerry Toot. I needed to see that place. It's up
Cure
on here.
All.
Cure All, yeah. And that happens to be tabaxomy. She's going to be on my program, so hopefully maybe next week or week after next, where she found out the herbs and the tinctures and the extracts from all of these. Now, what you have done, I'm going to extract. Oh, by the way, anybody listening, I'll tell you a certain time towards the end when you can call and ask Blessings. Any question, any question. Now, you are known as a book. We're going to flip the script now. Politics. You're very vocal. In fact, you are known in Dominica as the commentator for some and the agitator for others. Tell me, how do you pursue that? Because you're becoming a voice and an advocate for those who cannot speak.
Yeah, a lot of people say I'm a politician. I'm no politician.
Would you like to eventually run?
No. One thing I would not, because when I give somebody my word, it's on my back. I do not just say things. No, when I tell you something, it's on my back like a bag of stones. And I have to put it down by fulfilling my promise. Politics, I would not want to be in it at all. There are too many people I have to lie to, deceive, trick, and all of that. I'm not into that. The beauty of looking, like staying outside and looking in a game of draft football. And then you can see a lot of things the players could do. And you can even suggest they should do that. But then, what, you're not a footballer? But you ever play football in your life?
Yes.
Or, yeah, you know about draft, but you're outside there checking. Look at the move he should make. Look at where he's going to lose. And you can preempt what the end will be unless if you do something magical. I used to have that foolish, and I say foolish or ignorant mentality where Rasta don't get involved in politics. I never voted for many years. First of all, I could not read too well. I don't want to get involved. But when I understand the whole social, environmental, economical, and spiritual values of life, I'm saying, why stand aside and look when what is happening socially, environmentally, politically, economically is going to impact you? What part can you play to contribute into an awareness where people can know things simultaneously and impact a whole movement or participate in a whole movement and say, I'm not going to stay there and watch my country go down. I'm not going to stay there and watch people being abused and all of that. But some people can be so, the word I'm looking for, they have an ulterior motive.
Yes.
Like the me, myself, and I. It's all about my benefit. And
what's in it for me?
What's in it? That's it. What's in it for me?
Yes.
And you're not realizing what happened to Thompson, what happened to Franklin, what happened to Lennox. It is going to impact you because we are all complementing each other. It's a forest with all the roots mangled or tangled, and the branches are intertwined, and the leaves that are falling is either it giving nourishment or disease. So you cannot say, I am in the forest, but I'm not a part of the forest. So you're just being not wise, you know.
I know what you're thinking, because I want to shift the question, and Now, as I tell you, in life, and I'm going to tell you that because I'm going to label you that forever. One man's freedom fighter is perceived as another man's terrorist, depending on which side you look at it. Let's jump in the political arena. Make predictions for the next coming general elections. Now, we're going to get fearless. There is a struggle. There are issues. There are concerns regarding crossing the floor, switching the floor, moving on side. What is your perception of the atmosphere for the next general elections?
Last year before, I said something. I said, I do not want to put too much pressure on politicians for when they jump, they will say it's me that push them. But I like to leave things hanging. And some people say, but you're losing me. You're always losing me. Sometimes I find it out. But sometimes you say things and you throw me off. So last year I created, some members of the opposition may have crossed the floor undetected with their footsteps invisible. So that is more blatant, that is more pronounced. So, and then I listened to Mr. Linton today, and I'm saying, look at that. Because you heard about his brother, got a job from government, and all of a sudden he was invited. And I think it was maliciously and mischievously. Somebody had a plan to make political mileage with his presence. And he went to a pre-budget public discussion, and all of a sudden, we are too gullible, We are so easily convinced. If you hear something about somebody, you should believe it, because look, everybody's saying it. Everybody know that Christopher Columbus discovered Dominica. Where were the Kalinago? If he discovered Dominica, where were the Araraks and the Kalinago? So I am just saying, presently, our beloved Prime Minister is desperate, and he will do everything and anything to remain afloat. The people have come to the realization there's a regression. There's not a progression. Progression, you're building up. Regression, you're going back. You're breaking down.
Yes.
So in his desperation, he may have awakened to the realization or the reality Yo, the people are beginning to get smart. I cannot fool them with those little C1 little thing again. Everybody beginning to get smart. And he have to be that extreme with the housing revolution where people cannot have their certificate of title and where the NEP, and we're watching all great companies coming even from Israel now. You know, we have Israeli, the geothermal thing.
Yes.
We have a Grenadian manager in Domlek, and we have foreigners, the Chinese taking over. And everybody saying, if you watch every other shop is a Chinese store. And if you have a disease that take over your head or your heart, the body is already finibat.
Well, to take me back to a certain time, if you notice the slight shift in social standing in Dominica, you remember that when there was courts, before courts, or before Lyndhurst, there were people making coffins. Before courts, there was Ashadash.
People making furniture.
Yes, furniture. Oh no, before Lyndhurst, people were making coffins. There was a partner in Lubia making coffins. Now, with your job, you cannot run out of things to paint.
No,
you cannot.
Ideas.
Yes, and ideas. Yeah. What would you recommend to somebody who may not have a degree, who may not have had to go to an institution of higher learning? How can you make them? What can you say? I want you to say something to a person, especially young men, because you do not know that you have become a national icon. You have become, for the simple reason that you articulate what people would not want to say.
A lot of people tell me that. You talk on my behalf.
You talk on my behalf. Right. So the question is, where do you perceive the young generation? You see, some people they're looking for employment, but blessings, they're not employable. They don't have the skills, the knowledge, the technical know-how. The question I want to ask, you have mastered that over the period of time. Was it through trial and error, or there's something inside you that blessings, Tyrone, deserves more? And how do you tell people to look within themselves and find the gifts, if they have not been to university?
Yeah. Let me look within my own experience in being where I'm at presently, and with those who that would want to break out of it. It's easier said than done, Franklin. Franklin, with all the great innovation and creativity, skills and arts and whatever it is. When I used to sell at Emerald Pool, then I was a fool. The same thing with reading and all of that. I make a lot of money, squander money, save money, spend money. Me and a woman break up. After a couple of years, 10 years or more, we stayed together. Then that get to my head, almost get me crazy. And then I figure out it's time for me to have two friends, two of them overseas now. And we were just lying. I cut my dreadlocks and I COE and I freeing up and all of that. But there was and still is a rapid transition or shift away from the economic independence of Dominicans. Banana die. All right? Hucksters, agricultural roads have been abandoned in dilapidated conditions. The Haitians looking to substitute, but they can only do it to a certain degree because they will buy second-hand vehicles, and the vehicles will be mashed up by these farm roads because these are very not too welcoming. So you will do everything you can. And I'm watching the people selling at the market on the roadside. Now City Council is giving people pressure to remove vendors in front of the buildings and all of that. So now what you need is self-confidence, self-discipline, because you're going to come there for the whole day, 2 days, 3 days, and never sell nothing. The spending or the purchasing power has been diminished because the pipe is clogged in a very short space, maybe about 10 miles. And from end to end is drip, drip, drip. So if you put a teacup there, it might take you 10 years to full. And the next thing, there is no current, the currency. There is not a flow. You heard those terms in financial terms.
Yes,
so there's not a flow because
it's called steady cash flow, the receivables.
So I think these things are deliberate because you want the people that are on their knees, submissive, dependent.
Yes.
And then you can manipulate, skillfully determine how they behave, how they act, who they vote for, if they should talk to Thompson, if they should come to Q, or maybe they're in an apartment and they cannot put the radio on Q because somebody's going to say, oh, look, they want to listen to UWP, and so the people are imprisoned. They are under duress, under hostage. Duress is to hold somebody hostage, and then to advise somebody how to behave in a situation like that while you're seeing your life is going down is to tell them to be courageous, be disciplined, be faithful. Do not envious of people. Do not be extreme as well. You want a new shoes, you want a new this, no, you have to make some adjustment and say, although they never knew it when it was the glory. Dominica was in its glory once upon a time. And so to tell them that things can get better, they would have to participate in the whole, in contributing for things to get better based on a change of administration, which the hand that hold you will not voluntarily let you go. So sometimes you'll have to bite on it, chop it, cut it, prick it. And I did not say shoot it because we have no guns, okay?
Okay, let me tell you this day. You have some folks there. Bigger blessings. That's from Superman, Black Superman. Erickson, pleasant afternoon to you, blessings. Marlene says, greetings, Franklin, blessings, give thanks. Love you always. You always speak the truth. Next one is Sila Deloni, blessings.
Thank you. God blessings to you all. Blessings. And I appreciate you all being, one guy tell me, I must be careful because what I took years to build up, it can be broken down in a few days. I said, but I was not building anything.
Okay.
It get built in almost a subconscious state. So I will not lose it if it go down.
Yes.
Because it's an adjustments you have to make in life, frankly. The situation is my house just burned. And I'm not going to die over my house I have 2 children, one of them died. And these are the realities of life.
Yes. Where is your son, by the way?
He's in America with his auntie and mother and everybody.
Okay.
He completed high school, maybe planning to go to college right now.
Okay. Back foot time. We're winding up. Mia Motley, Barbados. 1, landslide. Twice. Trinidad, moved from back to Kamala Prasad Besesa. St. Vincent, Friday. What was the other one?
Gaston Brown.
Gaston, just.
Another.
In America, there is great uncertainty regarding what's going on in the war. We see the pressing need for the average person to put an additional $5 on the petrol, and you must go to work. Give me your prediction as you see the pattern that's happening in the St. Lucia, Haiti, yes, and so throughout the Caribbean. Hopefully, Dominica is next. Give me your overview as to where are we as voters, as politicians who are growing up, and tell me the distinguishing factors. Why would you vote or support any of the Freedom Party, United Workers Party, the UPP, or the Labour Party?
You have to be able to, in the voting aspect of it, somebody have to be quite measured in the assessment and analyzing everything that is happening, and you take a chance. There are no guarantees, but to take a chance based on your own judgment. All right? The whole Caribbean leaders, all of them, is either they get folded like, Mesemawi, that bush, the sensitive, when you touch it, it just closes.
Sensitive.
To the expectations of Europe and America. If they put up a resistance, they're going to perish. And they would rather the people perish than they perish. So they're trying to play a double role right in Dominica. You want to have your cake and eat it. The Chinese and America, serious. There is a battle, a Cold War like in time of Russia and America. So I am watching all of that with the gas price rising and all of that. There is something they call the New World Order. It's the same old world disorder. A Greek mythology, there was a big bird, the phoenix. It burned itself down to the ground and rise up from the ashes with bigger and with more beautiful feathers. I have an investment. It is no longer working for me. I put a candle close to the thing there. You already don't check it. By 1 o'clock, they're going to be off from gasoline inside there. And
Yes.
By 1 o'clock, there's going to be a big explosion. That place burn, and then I'm going to rise up from the ashes and build a new business. I used to have restaurants that was not doing good. No, I'm going to set up a supermarket there. So it's that metaphor. It's that telling you something deeper than just a bird and all of that. So the world right now, what they're doing, the phoenix is on fire, and hoping that they will rise up from the ashes, but that will be a nuclear fallout. They will fight eventually. And the nuclear fallout is after you let go all these bombs, the ashes, the radiation, the air, the wind, the rain. How are you going to escape all of that? So a lot of rich and famous people building what they call bunkers, and for them to run and hide underground and all of that. So the world is a very complex, dangerous and frightening and unaccommodating place, because it's pure cannibalization and animalistic and inhumane treatment from the people. When you hear about the Epstein world, they say Epstein Island is the Epstein world right now. Quickly, when Matt was discussing it, when it was introduced to the Caribbean, the rights of the child, and I was arguing, and people were saying what they want. The rights of the child take away the responsibility of the parents. Automatically, the rights of the child take away the responsibility of the parents.
Because the fundamental fact is that a child is a child until they're either 16 or 18.
Yeah,
but it still has a parent.
Yeah.
So who makes the decision? Through guidance or through? Anyway. No, 2 last questions. Okay. Before I ask you where you can be found and where you're located, what are the many things that you do? You carve?
I do carving, I do painting because of the ulcer, the diabetic ulcer on my instep. I could make furniture, already make nice furniture. I learned to make furniture with the youth skill training program.
Yeah, I used to be there.
And that's where I get really embarrassed because I can't read the theoretical part of it. I could do the cutting, the everything else, but if they give me something, I don't know anything. So I do my carving, I do my painting, and hear me on the air, you think, well, man he think he's smart. Something like that. They say, you think you know everything. I say, to know it all is to admit you knows nothing at all.
Yes.
And in comparison to all there is to know, where would I store all that there is to know?
Yes.
And then they check it, but what did he just say? What did he say there? But I throwing it back in their faces. You're insulting yourself. Who knows it all?
Yes.
Maybe the supreme being they call God, Jesus, Jehovah, Baha'u'llah. So I'm just saying, most of the times people want you to remain in your own little space because you're not this and you're not that. One guy told me the true definition of power is to be self-defined and have other people subscribe. Admit, Franklin say he's that, and there's nothing you can do with him, no matter what you tell him. So he is that, and you cannot tell him he's not that. So they just agree, well, if you want to deal with Franklin, you have to agree with what he say he is. That is the true definition of power. All the different fighting and guns and government and thing, that is an illusion.
If you were asked at any point in time, which is what I'm about to ask you, what is your basic fundamental lifelong philosophy of life? Apart, if you were to reconstruct your life, what is it that you're comfortable where you are? Or what is it that, because you were not obviously comfortable where you are because you were stymied, you were short-circuited by the lack of expression that you had because you weren't able to read and write. Now you have overcome, and in fact, you're a classic gold example. What can we expect more from you? Because if you unfolded from not being able to read and doing such great work, what can we expect? You're 60, like by 80, you have your own gallery for paintings, for carvings.
I have a lot of writings.
Tell me about that.
I want to publish a few books.
When you say writings, you learn to write after you learn to read?
After I learn to read, I have to go in the dictionary all the time and check the definitions on my spelling and to make sure everything is in order. Used to have Lowell Williams, Alberta Wilshire, Relda, O'Mara, the facilitators at the Bath Estate adult education classes. I had Sheldon Peters coming at my home, my aunt She passed now. Son, Kimon Daru, Kelva Daru, brother. I had another
You
man,
said
Wilson.
Sheldon Peters.
Sheldon Peters.
I work with him.
Yeah, he used to be a radio personality person. He's
Yes.
my aunt. My aunt, she late
he's
now.
in the States now.
Daughter, yeah. So, and I had Jarvis, another guy they call Jarvis used to come, and I have my blackboard and I have my chalk and everything. So, writing all what I have, I brought it to an intellect, an intellectual, and he tell me what I can do. That is so deep. He read them just for his own enlightenment. If I can break it down into small books, because first of all, to publish those things takes so much more.
Not anymore.
Oh,
I will talk to you after everything is AI.
Oh, no, but he was telling me if I thing it into AI, the source of it in the way it is written, it can be changed.
No, not necessarily. You have to you give it a command. It's a machine.
The programming.
Please print everything I say in exact order. You have to give it a prompt, and we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 5:02. So just your final. I just let you. I release you on the range.
So what I can advise the listening public, humanity. There's a lot of things, knowledge we have been deprived of to keep us enslaved without shackles and chains physically, because there's a limitation that is being placed on you based on what you have been told. You come out, you're crazy, you did not go to school, or you're too short, or you're too tall, or break out of the mold of somebody imposing their values and their how they call it, the word I'm looking for, their impositions on you. And then you have to say, I'm a free being, and never be afraid of death. In the absence of death, the pipe of life would be clogged. You getting that, Franklin?
Yes,
in the absence of death, the pipe of life would be clogged. And we talk about the cyclical transition, so to speak, of life and death and everything. What goes around comes right back around in the cycle. So never be afraid. You do not want to throw caution to the wind. As I said, courage in the absence of caution is either you're making the ultimate sacrifice or you're just being a damn fool. For there is a very thin line between bravery, stupidity, and insanity.
The last one I can understand. Hang on.
No. But they said I'm a madman for many, many, many years,
Yeah, but they will say that. You see, when you operating on a different vibration, a different energy, a different plane, then it makes you uncomfortable sometimes, because you see things and you hear things and you know things.
Yes.
And you maybe say you're not supposed to know, but it's your intuition that you're so aware and sharp, and your awakening is so on point.
I was a little boy, and my mother used her first daughter shoe, a thimble heel, red and black. And she said, something is in my head and she need to get it out. And she hold me between her legs and
that.
And blood started to just pitch out. She said, something is talking to me. Something is in. I could just see things and say things.
Yes. That's the way. I have something for you here. It goes like this. For your excellent participation on this, our bi-weekly small business empowerment program titled Nature Island Small Business Buzz. Today, at this moment, you and your business enterprise deserve an enthusiastic NDFD and Q95 national standing ovation. That's for you, my brother. That's for you. That's for you.
Thank
you. Have final words, final observations. I had a real good time. In fact, we didn't have time to break music because we were just in the flow. So your final.
I just want to give thanks to the.
But before you do that, before the thanks, where can you be located in, like when you're in town, or what's your number?
I usually pull up around by we church now no longer want people to be vending on the outside, but adjacent or opposite Prevost Mall there is a building there. I usually display my stuff there. But Franklin, people are balling. The disposable income is no longer there. So my number, 275-2944. And if somebody want to get in touch with me, maybe, patronize or contribute or whatever the case may be, because of my challenges with my foot, it is really tough. It is really tough. I do not like being on my knees, so I will crawl to survive. But I don't like being on my knees, depending on everybody. But if anybody want to assist me in any way they can, and it's like almost like begging. I'm asking for some help.
Yes.
Things are no longer what they used to be economically. I have the work, and I can do work, but guess what?
Yes.
Who is going to buy the work? But some people tell me I'm targeting the wrong people. I need to. So somebody talked to me about a hotel and something. I need to talk to the manager and things. So
we're working on
they try on that thing. Thanks for everything.
You very much. Yes.
And all friends, all foes, all lovers, all haters, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Blessings to you all. Without one, there could not be the other.
Without you, I'm not sure I would have had such a fun time this afternoon. Thank you very much. Blessings.
Blessings.
We'll talk.
Wind up your bumper. Marshall and Timaya. Marshall and Timaya. Remix it. Wind up your bumper. Shake up your bum, shake up your bum, shake up your bum. Shake up your bum, shake up your bum. Shake up your bum, hook up your bum. You got to wind yourself. Yeah. Shake up your bum, hook up your bum. Let me see you make it drop. You got to move, girl. You got to move that thing around. You got to move, girl. You got to wind that thing around. We take everything turn up, we can't turn low. Party and put sun up the sun low. Shake that thing, your mind number one. You might sleep in Nigeria, wake up in London. Yeah, no, if it is London, no, we just stop there, come down.